Good evening, parents. Hi, everyone. This is Seema Mehta from The Confident Communicator. I'm going live today again, like every Wednesday, for our series Imperfect Parenting. Thank you again for joining. If you're here, if you're free, if you're available, get a cup of tea. Come and join us for yet another session on imperfect parenting. All of us as parents have one thing in common: we love our kids. We want them to do well, and we want to do as much as possible for our kids. And today is a good day. I was able to sign in Deepma very easily, and she's going to be joining us soon. There you are. Can you hear me,
Hi,
Deepma?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
I'm
Loud and
testing
clear.
out some new headphones because apparently there was some issue with my voice the last time. So I'm trying out these headphones, and let's see if people can hear me clearly. So
I
we
can.
just
Just talk a little louder, probably.
Okay. So we are back here again on Wednesday, 5 o'clock, for our fantastic and so much fun series, The Imperfect Parenting. Thank you, parents, for joining us. Today, again, is an important topic. Again, the questions have come from you, and we are very grateful. Thank you for sending us your questions. And the question today we have is, everybody is talking about this buzzword, which is growth mindset. So we're going to talk about growth mindset, fixed mindset. What does it mean? What does it mean to us as parents, and how do we help our kids, kind of create or grow this growth mindset? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And I'm joined here today with me is Deepma Jadeja, who's also the founder of The Confident Communicator. And before we start, I just wanted to share, Deepma, that one of you and I, we both love Rita Pearson, who is one of
We
the
do.
most well-known educator. She's no more, of course, but she had this fantastic TED talk which said everybody needs a champion, in which she talks about how in one of her classes there was a child who didn't do really well and got 2 out of 20 in a pop quiz, and she put a smiley face next to it and thumbs up, and the boy said, Miss Pearson, is that an F? And she said, yes, but why are you putting a smiley face if I failed? And she says, yeah, that's because you didn't get them all wrong. And that got us
Exactly.
thinking that when a teacher or an educator, or even as parents, how we engage with our kids, how we speak to our kids, is so critical and so important in creating that growth mindset. But before we get into all of that, why don't you let's talk a little bit about what is mindset. How do we define mindset, and how is it relevant to our children?
Wow. Yeah, that's a great example. I love Rita Pearson, and I loved her philosophy of always championing kids, always making sure that they were learning. Her aim was being an educator, not a teacher, and I loved that about her. I loved all of what she said. Speaking of growth mindset and fixed mindset, some of the parents that wrote into us and they said, we've been reading a lot about this, new thing, this new age philosophy called growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And Seema, Deepma, could you discuss that a little bit? And we've been talking about the growth mindset for quite a long time. But
Yes.
going back, to the 1990s, we did most of our adulting in the 1990s, where we got our bachelors and then we got our master's degrees, we got married, we had our children, and that was the decade when the self-esteem movement was very big. So we were constantly told that uh, tell your children that they're fabulous, that they're very talented, that they're amazing, they can do no wrong, they're very special all the time, and this would make them this would make them more confident, this would improve
the
their self-worth.
constant the constant need
That
for
constant
validation. Yes.
praise, yeah, the
Yes.
constant praise would kind of make them better. And I remember at that point thinking that my parents were all wrong. They had messed up my life, they had never praised me, they had never said that how amazing and wonderful and fabulous I was. But it has been proven now, and I'm leading up to what Carol Dweck says in the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. That was the self-esteem movement was has been proven to be a disaster. Because it led to it led to an acceptance of mediocrity. it led to a belief in the children that unless they were right, unless they were getting A's, unless they were at the top of the ladder, they weren't good enough, right?
Yeah.
And so they would avoid challenges. They would avoid things that would probably they would do wrongly or they would make a mistake at, and that would obviously mean that they were not smart enough. So that kind of
let's let's
movement of
uh, let's
constantly
back up a
doing that.
little bit. Let's back up a little bit, because you mentioned the word belief. Let's first define what is belief, because I think it's important to talk about it, because it sort of segues into the whole mindset, and how you can go from there to a growth mindset. So what
Yes,
exactly is a belief system, and why is it important for us as parents to understand how a child can start creating a belief system as young as 6 years of age?
yes. Um, I think it's all about the subconscious mind, right? We develop the subconscious mind very, very early. By the age of
Yeah,
8, it's almost completely developed. And it is
yeah.
small little things that we pick up from our environment, from our parents, our teachers, our caregivers, that programs our mind into us believing whether we can do a particular thing or not do a particular thing, if we're smart enough or not smart enough, if we're good at math. Remember, we had a meeting a few days ago, and somebody was saying, I have a 4-year-old nephew who just hates math. And I'm thinking, really, at 4, he has already decided
Yes.
that he hates math. See, these
Yeah,
are
I
the things
mean,
that we say.
if you go back to the example I gave you of Rita Pearson, when she gave 2 out of 20 to the child and put a beautiful smiley face, and the child said, "But why would you give me a smiley face? I've failed, isn't it?" And she said, "No,
Yeah,
you didn't get them all wrong. And when we meet again to kind of review what work you've done, we learn, isn't it?" Now, if every educator, if every parent speaks to a child in that way, I think the belief system would then be that
yes,
I have made a mistake. It's okay. I'm ready to learn. I love challenges. It's so fun to tackle with challenges rather than shy away from it. And therefore, the kids are not going to be afraid of a subject like math, because
yes.
we are not. And I remember you talking about your daughter also, when I think you were mentioning earlier, when she had some math problems, and you and your husband sat down,
Oh,
and
yeah,
why did you talk about that
yeah.
incident? Yeah,
I know that was so amazing because teachers see what a huge impact
a
teachers and
teacher makes.
educators have on a child. I
Yeah.
remember my daughter coming home one day with a math paper, and she had just written down the answers that she had gotten, and when we sat down and solved the entire paper, almost all, I think 8 out of 10 of the problems, the answers were wrong. And so I remember, us just, it was eighth standard, seventh or eighth standard, and we just sat with our head in our hands saying, oh my God, she has failed. She has failed math. And we were freaking out like the imperfect parents that we were. We were freaking out. And I remember going to the PTM and getting her paper in my hand and seeing a 75% on it. And I looked at that and I'm wondering, how come if all the answers were wrong, she got a 75%? And
Mm.
as we went through it, we saw that the teacher had given her points for where her thinking was correct. And she had only taken off points for the final answer or from the point where she had kind of gone wrong, right?
Correct.
And that was something that gave her such a huge belief system in herself that I'm almost there. I didn't get the correct answer, but I'm almost there. My thinking is correct. My thinking 75%, three-fourths of the way is correct, right? And the
Correct.
I
So
can get there. I'm not all like the boy in Rita Pearson's class said, I'm not all dumb. You didn't get them all wrong,
exactly, and that's
right?
why that's why how we speak to our kids is important, and that's why I think we can distinguish between what is a fixed mindset versus what is a growth mindset. Clearly, a fixed mindset is when a child has a belief system that when they hit a wall, or if things get very tough, or there's a challenge presented to them, they give up easily, or they
Yes.
are very afraid, or they are very sure that they are not going to do it, or they just say
They
something
just
like, we
say
were
no.
born like this is the
Yes.
way we were born, and this is the way we are, and I was born dumb, I was not born good in math or good in science or whatever.
English or
so
whatever.
uh,
Yeah.
so you see so many cases of people saying, oh, you know what, I'm very good in math but I can't draw.
Yeah.
But it's not true. You can actually learn how to draw, if you have the right mindset. So fixed mindset is very clear. So let's talk a little bit more about growth mindset and what does that do to the child. How does it affect our brain and how does it push children out of the comfort zone?
Yeah, I love how Carol Dweck actually characterizes the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. She talks about the growth mindset as the philosophy or the power of the words not yet.
Yes.
And so what happens is you don't you don't beat yourself up. You don't completely get dejected because you can't do it, because the words not yet say I didn't get the sum right yet,
Yes.
meaning I can do something to make myself better at it.
Correct.
I didn't win that race yet. I didn't conquer the 4 minute mile yet. That's probably what Roger Bannister said. And
I
then she
think, yeah,
characterized.
it puts you
No,
on a
go ahead.
future path, isn't it? It puts you on a
Yes,
future path. It's not like, okay, I don't know how to solve this problem, finish, game over. It's
finish.
not like that.
End of
When
the
you have
world.
the attitude of, I'm not there yet, I think what it does is it puts you on this learning curve. It puts you on this future path where you feel it's a challenge, but I know how to deal with it. So I think
Correct.
that's kind of the biggest and most powerful thing that Carol Dweck talked about when she talked about growth mindset. That start using
Exactly.
words like, you are not there yet, but you will
Yes.
get there.
I
Exactly.
love that.
Exactly.
If there's one word that you take away from this live, I would say the word has to be yet. You can't do
Correct.
it yet doesn't mean you can't do it ever, right? And
Exactly.
the fixed mindset she characterizes as the tyranny of now. And
Yes.
we've seen so many children who kind of are devastated. It's a tragedy. They're in tears. They're completely horrified if they lose a few points in their test, or if they
Yeah.
don't come first in a race, or if they lose a competition, because failure is something that they completely demonize and they completely freak out about. And it is not something, a fixed mindset is not something that you're born with. A growth mindset is not something you're born with. It can be developed. So that
Developed. Correct.
parents, teachers, educators world over need to kind of push this envelope of not yet. But
Yeah.
hey, it's not the end of the world. And I think
Correct.
that's what this generation today, which is like completely focused on, if not 90%, then 95, if not 95, 99. Now it's 99.9%.
Yeah, but
It's
Deepa, don't
reaching
you?
ridiculous proportions.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I know that logically and scientifically all this is true. But
Yes,
let's be real. I mean, we are talking about imperfect parenting, right? I mean, we are
yes,
all parents
yes,
where, say, your child is in a class where your child has done well, better than the previous performance, and they've actually done well. But there are some 10 other kids who have done remarkably well, and there is
much
a
better.
tendency to compare, right? There is always a tendency to say, oh, but everybody else got a 25, my kid only got a 15. So that tendency to compare
Yes,
happens. But what we forget is that your child was at a 5 and has jumped to a 15. So I
yes,
think what we are trying to say in the growth mindset, our role as parents therefore is, A, let's not compare our children to others. B,
correct.
let's praise the process and the
Yes,
effort. And that's
so
what
true.
the true definition of a growth mindset would be.
Growth
And
mindset.
that's when a child, I think, will have the courage to say that, you know what, it's not over yet, I'm working on it. I'm working on
Yes.
it. I have the confidence and I have the perseverance. When I hit a brick wall, I'm going to be able to take up the challenge
Mhm.
and I'm going to be able to solve the problem. So I think that's what the whole growth mindset does, isn't it?
100%. You hit the nail on the head when you said it is the fixed mindset that says, I can't do this, right? It is the growth mindset that says, and the comparison comes from the fixed mindset, both with parents as well as with children. So, as parents, we are equally guilty of being in the fixed mindset because we say, oh my God, if he got 95% and you didn't, that means you're quote unquote a failure, and failure is a bad thing, right?
Correct.
Now comes the
Correct.
growth mindset where you got 90%, the other guy got 95%. So you're not at 95% yet, but failure is not a bad thing because now you know exactly what you have to work at. And that's
Correct.
where our stuff, even in our classes, comes out, right? Where we talk about, we talk about persevering, we talk about resilience, we talk about, going forward and saying, okay, so now here's the conversation with the parents. What can I do to help you? Can we get a tutor? Can we work harder? Can we do more practice? Should we buy more workbooks? What can we
Exactly.
do to get to that 95%? Because the 90% is not the end of the world.
Correct.
But if
Correct.
you want to get to 95, here are some things that we could do to get you
Yeah.
there.
I think
And that's the conversation.
when you kind of include the children in the process of their own success, when they are vested in the process of their own success, where they come up with the solutions themselves, and when we tell them, when we use the words "not yet, but you will get there,"
Yes.
is
Hmm.
when our children will feel that, yeah, they can come up with some solutions themselves, and then they are accountable for those solutions, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
one of the things, but still, there are some children who will still be afraid. There are some children who will still have a lack of resilience or adaptability.
Correct.
And everybody says, all the scientists say that it is very important to keep pushing yourself outside the comfort zone. It is a known fact that when you push yourself outside the comfort zone, that's when you see success. Bliss is on the other
Hmm.
side of the comfort zone. So
Comfort
what
zone.
do we tell, how do we scientifically explain this, and what effect does this have on our neurons? Because I know that it has some effects on the neurons of our brains when we
Yeah.
push ourselves outside the comfort zone.
Comfort zone. Yeah, the comfort zone. See, for the most part, we all like being in our comfort zone. We all like doing things that we always do, wearing things that we always wear, reading things that we always read, being with people that we love, watching the shows that we. So that's comfort. There's nothing wrong with the comfort zone. But the
Correct.
comfort zone is to keep you comfortable, to keep you safe. Now, and your subconscious brain is always going to insist on you staying in the comfort zone, because your brain's job is only,
To
evolutionarily
protect.
speaking, to protect you and to keep you safe. So
Correct.
obviously they're going to say, don't do anything that scares you, because there might be a lion there that might be waiting to catch you and eat you,
Hmm.
evolutionarily speaking.
Right.
However,
Right.
now in today's society, there's no lion out there. So we have to start thinking, how do I get out of my comfort zone into what we call the discomfort zone? Because growth happens only in the discomfort zone. In the comfort zone, you're at status quo. You're at
Yeah.
the same place. So the
Yeah.
growth is only going to happen in your discomfort zone when you push yourself out. And they did a study where they were actually measuring the electrical activity in the brain,
The neurons.
and
Yeah.
of the neurons. And when you had failed, and when you
Yeah.
were constantly thinking of, how can I get this better, how can I do better, what should I do, where can I do, what changes can I make in order for this failure to go away, the
Right.
entire brain lit up, and your entire brain is working, right?
Yeah.
And that's what forces the neurons, the electrical impulses, forces those neurons to connect and make new connections. And
Correct.
counterintuitively, those new connections and that failure is what makes you smarter,
So
because you
what you're
built those
saying,
new connections.
what you're saying is that when you push yourself outside the comfort zone, you can form new and stronger connections, and you, over
Absolutely.
the period of time, you will become smarter, because that's what
Yes,
what the result of being outside the comfort zone has done to you. So I think that
exactly.
means, as parents, we still, even though our children may be terrified, if we continue to use the language of, uh, you're not there yet, but you'll get there,
You will
let's
get
figure
there.
out together collectively, let's come up with some solutions collectively, they will be okay to keep pushing themselves outside the comfort zone. So
Yes,
obviously, the most obvious question for parents then would be, what can we do so that our children can have the growth mindset? Clearly, the first point we already discussed, which is, let's praise our kids, but not about their results, but about their effort and the
process.
process of arriving there. Because I
Yes,
think over a period of time, if you want to build resilience in your children, you have to praise the process and the effort, not the actual outcome. So let's
yes,
not get stuck on the A's and the B's and the grades. Let's
yes,
look at their effort, how much effort are they putting, how, what the process is, what their struggles are, and how they will get to eventually where they want to go, right? So that's the first
100%.
yeah.
100%. The
What else
praise
can we do?
wisely, right?
Yeah.
First one
Yeah.
is praise wisely. The
Correct.
second one, we do it in our class. We've done it
Yeah.
intuitively in our class where we ask them to do the my inspiration or my hero speech, right? Because what happens is when you're looking at a Michael Jordan or when you're looking at a Steve Jobs or when you're looking at someone who you are very, very impressed with, you tend to assume that that person was always that talented or always that great or always that fabulous. When they do the research, when the kids do the research into their Michael Jordan or their Steve Jobs or their whoever their hero or their
The hero.
inspiration is,
Yeah.
we realize how much hard work, how much perseverance, and how much failure went
Yes.
into that
Yes.
hero becoming who he or she was, right? And
Correct.
that's what then makes them realize that, you know what, me not getting a particular grade at this point in time is not the end of the world. Yes, failure makes you sad. Failure should make you reflect. Failure and doing poorly in something should make you go inward and say, what went wrong? We're not
Hmm.
saying that's not, don't do that. But
Correct.
it's not the end of the world. It's not a tragedy. It's not a catastrophe. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's where we have to be on
But
the
I think children think it is a tragedy. They think it is a catastrophe because of the way it's the kind of language that we as parents
Yes,
or as educators or as relatives or as supporters, we are using that kind of language. Is it kitna marks mila? How many marks did you get?
exactly.
How did you do in your 10th standard? Instead of asking them, so what are you most interested in? Correct? Or what
Yes,
is it that you like to spend most of your time studying? Instead of
doing.
asking those questions. So I think as a society and as educators and as parents, it's very important for us to use the right language when we are
Yeah,
talking to our kids. So A, we praise the effort. B, we also reward the effort, not just praise the effort,
yes,
but also reward the effort. Because I remember once when my daughter, she came back from school, and she used to get a lot of threes and twos in her math exam, and one day she came up with a 5 or a 6, and we said, oh, great, great, I'm very happy. And she says, why don't you look happy? I said, because I think that I don't really care about your 5 and 6, but we went for an ice cream because of the amount of hard work she had put in. And she says, so you're giving me the ice cream because of the hard work I put in, or are you giving it to me because of my, to keep encouraging our children to keep working hard to their best potential. And once we have that kind of language, it becomes your belief system, right? You start believing, like Rita Pearson says, you say it long enough, it becomes a part of you. If I tell
yes,
my child that your effort and your process is going to get there, it eventually becomes part of your belief system, and it becomes part of you, isn't it?
yes.
Correct. So, what can we do? What else can we do to, encourage and make sure that our children have this growth mindset? Any other tips that we can discuss?
One more, one quick one. I was reading about this I think it was a couple of months ago, and I loved it. You talked about language, right? And you talked
Yeah.
about the words that we use when we describe our children. And two words I think that we should just, all of us, today, we should just
Hmm.
all banish from our vocabulary are the two S words, smart and stupid. Both
Yes.
of them should be banished because both smart and stupid come from the fixed mindset. I am
Correct.
very smart because I got an A. I am very stupid because I didn't get any. Both
Correct.
of them come from the fixed mindset. They're both on two edges of the fixed mindset. We need to be on the spectrum of the growth mindset where we say, this isn't about smart and stupid. This is about doing the very best that you can. And as long as we can do that with our children, as long as we can showcase to our children that please just keep trying something. See, none of us were great at speaking. None of us was great at writing. We were never great at baking or cooking or whatever it is. It is practice and it is perseverance and it is constantly doing the same thing over and
Yeah.
over again that got us to where we are. And once we are where we are at, once we become good at a particular activity or skill, we automatically start liking it. We automatically become passionate about it. So what we have to do is, we can't ask children, you can't ask a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old or even a 10-year-old to say, what are you passionate about? What do you
Yeah.
like doing? No.
Hmm.
We have to tell them, keep persevering.
Correct.
When you get good at it, you're going to automatically start liking it. And
So
how
I
will you
think
get
that
good at
means
it? With practice.
So that means growth mindset will increase the engagement, it will increase their effort, it will increase their focus, their perseverance and strategies towards success, right? So
Yes,
if we keep encouraging our children to adopt this growth mindset, all of these things will happen, and then eventually that's the S word, which is smartness, will automatically be inherited by the child, isn't it? So
yes, yes,
I think what we are saying, therefore, is to get the growth mindset, the belief system now has to be created, because the damage is done to the kids when they adopt this very fixed mindset belief system,
yes,
where they start believing that they are not good enough, they are not worthy enough.
yes.
Second, I think we need to be extremely patient as parents. We cannot give up on them. If they are discouraged, that's the worst thing we can do. So we got to keep engaging with our kids and keep encouraging them and not letting go of them. But tell me, how do we then create this belief system? How do we? I've heard something about affirmations, and I know we are very excited.
Affirmation.
We are very excited to talk about. How do you do self care and affirmations so that you start, actually you say it long enough, you become part of it, you start believing it, right? So belief system, like
Absolutely.
we said in the beginning, is your understanding or your perception of your own abilities, and and your potential, and that becomes your mindset. So how do we program this belief system
Yes.
so that our children are constantly thinking that they are good enough, that they have the ability, challenges are fun, they are not going to be able to shy away from like a tough situation or a tough problem? What can we do?
You hit the nail on the head. One of the most powerful things is, I'm sorry, there's a airplane going above my head right now, but one of the most powerful ways to develop the growth mindset is by using affirmations. We have this beautiful set of cards called the affirmation cards, and there's a lot of affirmations in there. One of them
What
I
is
love.
affirmation, Deepma? What is
I
affirmation? Let's talk a little bit about that.
A beautiful affirmation, for example, over here is, I am a blessing to my family. And I love that. My children love that. And affirmation is something that you tell yourself over and over again,
Over
that
again.
forms your belief
Belief
system,
system.
that goes ahead and reprograms your subconscious mind. And your
Absolutely.
subconscious mind is walking around saying, I can't do this well. She is better than me in this. My math is terrible. I really don't have a great vocabulary. Look how beautifully she speaks. Your subconscious brain is constantly putting you down. And these affirmations like this: I am beautiful, I am strong, I am powerful, I am hardworking, I am a blessing. These things, when you keep saying it over and over again, it's something like math. You keep doing the same problem over
It
and over
becomes
again,
part of your.
you become good at math. What did we do to
Exactly.
learn our times tables? We
Yeah.
Every night we said our, 3 times tables, 5 times tables, 15 times tables over and over and over again until it became a part of our
Also
being.
our own domestic lives, right? When we cook the same food, when it becomes a favorite of our children, the reason why become, mom, you make the best pasta, mom, you make the best mithai or
Exactly.
dal or whatever. It's because we made it so many times that it becomes part of
Exactly.
our psyche, where when our children constantly praise us, we always say, yeah, that is something I can do very easily. So I
Very
think
well.
that's absolutely true, and I think it's very important to include
I
affirmations in the
love
mind of our
these.
children.
Yeah.
And we are so excited because, as part of the Confident Communicator in our leadership communication program, also, we work very, very, uh, you know, uh, persistently about this whole concept of belief system. And we want to make sure that every single child who's associated with us makes it part of their belief system through our classes
Yes.
and through our courses and through our products. So I think
Yes.
that's something that we would encourage all parents to do. Make affirmations and self-care as
Yes.
an integral part of your children now, because what they believe in right now is going to impact them in the future.
Yeah.
They will be more confident, they will be more perseverant, they will be able to deal with challenges without, or difficulties in life, without any problems. Let's make our kids resilient. Let's not praise
Yes.
them all the time, so that they have this constant need for validation. Otherwise they are not going to be good in their relationships. They are not going to be good in their work. They are not going to be good in life in general if they are
Yep.
constantly having this need for validation. So
Yes.
kids who are praised for the process and effort become more
Yes.
and more resilient as they grow older, right? So
100%. Yeah.
so
All of
great
our
this.
classes also, when we do this, I just wanted to say very quickly, the fixed mindset, just to kind of describe, somebody asked me, I had a friend over for lunch today, and she was asking me, what is fixed mindset? Give me an example. What is growth mindset? Give me an example. And I said, a fixed mindset would be someone who is more about the grades, more about the I got 100 out of 100. Oh, I came first. Oh, the teacher validated me, like you said just a second ago, right? It's all about that praise, and that's why we talk about praising wisely. You praise, but then the growth mindset child is the child who is able to dream. Remember, we do a segment in our class where we talk about outrageous dreams, right? And they are supposed to write down their 5 outrageous dreams. Why? Because a person with a growth mindset, when he or she writes down those outrageous dreams, all of a sudden they become within reach. If
And
I
it is
work towards
also,
it, I can get it.
it's also very alarming that in many of our classes, when we ask them to do this exercise, they are almost nervous, or they are not able to think of anything. That also
Yeah,
happens because
that's sad. Yeah,
they've been trained to, or they've been subdued, or they've been pushed down to not think outrageously. And I think that if, for example, our own prime minister, we talk about our prime minister who used to be, he's always known as somebody who was a chaiwala and he became the prime minister, right?
yeah,
There are so many cases like that in the world of very, very successful people who have always dream big, and that only comes if you have a growth mindset. And
yeah,
that's really that's why I think that every single child, like Rita Pearson said, needs a champion. And we as parents, as educators, and as the society in general, have to stop focusing on things like marks, or things like what grades you got, or stuff like that, which college you went to. Let's not get fixated by that. Let's ask about what our children's interests are. Let's ask
yes,
about their process of learning. Let's ask about what is it that they enjoy doing, rather than pushing them into a box and making them
yes,
develop this fixed mindset, which is extremely harmful even as in the society in general. So I
yes.
think that was a great conversation.
Creative problem solving, thinking
Yeah,
outside the box, innovation. These are the needs of the day, not your A's
correct.
and your A pluses, right?
Exactly. And I think the more and more we talk about this, and we certainly do that in our class, just before we end this session, I just wanted to say, if people want to know a little bit more about the differences between fixed and growth mindset, we're going to be putting in the video
A
on our
video.
Facebook page. Also, we have a free video for all the parents, and a lot of requests have come for that. The Ace Every Exam, it's a video called Ace Every Exam. How do you reprogram your mind? Something we talked about today also. How do you
Yes,
reprogram your mind so that you're ready for these kind
for
of
success.
challenges? So
Yes.
you will see that in our Facebook page after the session is over. And thank you again, parents, for joining us. And if you have any more questions, keep asking us questions, because our goal in this series of Imperfect Parenting is to answer a lot of questions that we all have as parents. Nobody's born a perfect parent. There is no perfect parent.
There's
So
no such
this,
thing.
we
Yeah.
love the fact that you all are sending us more questions, and we'd love to answer the questions next Wednesday, same time at 5 o'clock. And more information about our new product, the affirmation cards and
Products. Yes.
self-care, we'll be posting that very soon. So thank you for watching. Thanks, Deepa. And we'll see you again
Thank
next
you,
week.
Seema. It was fun. Bye.
Bye. Bye.